Hey, I'm Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. Today we're going to go over some of the different bourbons and things that I found February 2023. I've already reached past what my anticipated budget was for this month and kind of moved into March. So I'm interested to see how March is going to do, but February was an outstanding month. Now, Hulk shirt here, not for a flex. This is more about if my wife ever saw how much I spent this month, we could have a Hulk issue here at the house. But let's see what we got. So one of the first bottles that I kind of wanted to show that I was able to get this month was actually through trade. This was a Booker's. This is the 2022. This is the tea. This is the Tennessee, I think, is it Tennessee tea batch? Kentucky tea batch, I'm sorry. This is the Kentucky tea batch from Booker's. I was able to get this in a trade from a friend. This is something I did not have. I was excited to have and looking forward to cracking this open and seeing what we got. One of the next bottles was actually something that I just recently got, yesterday as a matter of fact, through the Alabama allocated. I was at there for some other things and I happened to stop at a random gas station and I was able to pick up Maker's Mark. This is 2021 FAE02. I'm a fan of Maker's Mark, so I was excited about this. Finding it in a random gas station after the allocated day was a nice find for me for February. Looking forward to testing this one out and seeing what we get on this, but really kind of a surprise to my day yesterday after getting some, nice allocated products, getting some of the mini Blantons. This was a nice pickup yesterday. Like I said, this was a pretty heavy month, but I was able to get this John J. Bowman. If anyone's seen my videos, the bottle shop in Columbus, Georgia is affectionately known as my mistress. But same friend, that helped me out with some other things this month, that helped me out with the Bookers, told me, said, hey, they got Bowman's over there. I was able to go in and really quickly get this single barrel. I'm gonna do a later video on this, comparing this versus some E.H. Taylor, and then maybe some Wellers, and kind of seeing blind how it tests out. A lot of people have been very positive about this and think this is a good find. I was actually able to go back a couple of days later. They had another case come in and pick one up for a friend as well. So it was good to be able to share with him because this is one of his favorites. Yellowstone. So this is the 101 proof. This right here is a limited edition. I was able to pick this up via part of a trade. I traded something that I had a duplicate of. I was able to pick this up. I never had any of the Yellowstone products, so interested to see how this tastes when we get a chance to crack it open. I think this will be part of a project that I'm working on to be able to share with some of the people that watch the videos. Maybe in an infinity bottle, maybe in samples, but when I get this cracked open, I definitely like to share some of this with people that maybe haven't had the opportunity like me until now. Part of this month's allocated products for Alabama. This wasn't part of the drop, but this was part of one of their barrel picks that came out. This is the Russell's Reserve. This is a private barrel selection. A friend of mine, the same gentleman I got the Bookers from, and he helped me out over here with this Bowman. He lives closer to the area than I, and he was able to find a bottle and get a bottle for me. And I'm really appreciative of that. Everyone that's talked about these type of private selections have said that these are better than the Russell 13s a lot of times. It was a very good price point. The state of Alabama, it keeps pricing down, so this is right at $70. Looking forward to cracking this open and trying some of this. A lot of people at the allocated day yesterday talked about how phenomenal this normally is. Now, like I said, I spent a lot of money this month. I probably had more money than sense. And I'm wondering how much this is going to impact my March finds. But the one thing I found is whiskey don't wait. If you have an opportunity on the shelf and you have the means, don't put yourself into debt on any of this. You know, none of this is on a credit card. You know, this is something that, you know, I fortunately have the means, you know, to pick this up. And this is part of a year-long project. And I've talked with my wife about this and things that I'm interested in. So probably had a lot more money than sense this month, but whiskey wasn't going to wait. So I picked up a few things that probably outside of the normal scope that maybe other people have opportunities, but I was very fortunate this month. First one, Blanton's Gold. This is something you don't see around here a lot. Had a gentleman I've met before up at the bottle shop. Actually had some of these, and I was able to acquire this through him. I have a collector's thing with me too, so I enjoy whiskey, but I also like to collect. And this was definitely one of the things that I targeted for my collection. I'm sure eventually I'll open it up because it's no good just to have a collection if you can't enjoy some of the collection. But this is a new addition for me, this Blanton's Gold. Something I'm really looking forward to, hopefully sharing with some viewers on this as well, because I think that the best part about bourbon is being able to share with your friends, being able to share, you know, with people that may not have the opportunities to find some of these products. So they could say, hey, I sampled that and I really like that, or I sampled that and it just wasn't my thing. But I like to share. I love to share my nature, love to give to my brother-in-law, my son-in-law, you know, my friends in the bourbon community. So this will be something that hopefully will be there too. This next bottle, I was able to get this as part of a project that I'm working on, where I'm comparing the state of Alabama versus the state of Georgia on how they handle their whiskey allocations, bourbon allocations. And I want to give a comparative analysis quarterly and year end to kind of show, based on your budget, your time constraints, financial opportunities or ability, how you can maybe acquire some of the most reasonable bourbons at the best prices, and show you what the timetables are. Are you investing a lot of time for this? Are you investing a lot of currency on this? Or how they overlap and how you can potentially increase, you know, building your bar on the best budget that means for you. Because some people have more time than money, and some people have a lot more money than time. And what's the best way to improve your bar in the things that you'd like to try. This next bottle was part of one of the 4 stores that I'm using in Columbus, Georgia. So this is from Midland Package. They're a relationship-based business. So when I talk to Manny out there, and you know, I go through and I get some bottles, I, you know, build that rapport with Manny. So, you know, one day we're in there and he just sets this one down in front of me at MSRP, and this is a Stag Junior. This is actually a junior. It doesn't have just the Stag to it. He set that down. This was part of his collection, but he was, you know, trying to say, hey, appreciate the business that you've done out here. You know, he's noticed that, and this gives an opportunity to put something out into somebody else's hands, and I'm very appreciative about the Stag Junior. This is something I've been looking for part of my collection. I'm sure eventually I'll open it, but I always like to collect first and then decide when do I want to open it, and how am I going to share some of this too, because I can't drink all the bourbons that I have. As much as I'd like to, I'd probably be in a lot of trouble. But definitely like the Stag Junior on that. Next bottle was going down to visit my daughter. She's in Hinesville, Georgia. My son-in-law is stationed out there on Fort Stewart. I appreciate him for his service out there. He's got a great group of guys out there. But my daughter had to have some knee surgery, so I was in the area in Hinesville, and it gave me an opportunity to kind of look at the landscape of Hinesville. I ran into a couple of really nice people out there at some of the stores. Was able to fortunately do some business with them and bring something back. You know, it's definitely not MSRP, but totally, it's definitely not secondary either. So I think it was an excellent opportunity to pick up some things. I actually was able to pick up 2 of this next bottle, which is the E.H. Taylor single barrel. One of these I traded away to a friend who has been looking for one, and the other one I've got for my collection. This is going to be part of an infinity project coming up in the next couple of months. I'm looking forward to using that in that project and sampling some of this and getting some to my friends that haven't had the opportunity with it. But this bottle came outside of my normal area, which is, you know, Auburn, Columbus, Phoenix City area. This came out of Hinesville, which is about an hour outside of Savannah. Found some very nice things there. I was pleasantly surprised. The ride in between Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City area and over to Hinesville, it was miserable. As far as I've stopped at a couple of liquor stores and they're selling Eagle Rare and they're selling Buffalo Trace at $50 and $60 a bottle, and I'm just like, this is like a dead land for place. But so there was a pleasant oasis surprise that I was able to get there, find this and another couple other bottles in that area, which truly shocked me and surprised me. Next bottle that we've got here, this was actually part of a trade. If you looked at my January video where I talked about what I was able to get in January, you may have noticed that I had 2 bottles of Old Fitz 19. Again, not a flex, just very fortunate. I went to a store that's also part of this year-long series that I'm working on. That's called My Honey Hole. It's Wild Bill's in Columbus, Georgia. They had another bottle there. Above MSRP, but definitely not secondary. Have great rapport with the gentleman out there. Purchased the second bottle, and I don't like to hoard things, but I like to have the opportunity to maybe use this to get some other things. And so I was part of a trade where I was able to get some Weller Full Proof. Actually got 3 bottles of Weller Full Proof. 2 of them are store picks. One of them, which this is the one here, I'm actually going to keep and use part of it as an infinity bottle project. Another one I was able to get to a friend and trade it to him for some of the products you see up here. And he actually wanted the regular full proof because he already had a store pick full proof, so he can compare the 2. So this gave me a full proof to add that I didn't have to my collection, and now I have an extra one, which I'm going to use to get back out because I don't need 2 bottles, you know, to get back out and see if I can add something new that I can sample and taste and maybe get to the viewer somehow, some way, so they can experience it as well. So very excited about the Weller Full Proof. Got 4 bottles left. Like I said, I had a lot more invested in this month than I anticipated. Wife, you know, luckily she doesn't watch my videos, so keep that quiet. She doesn't even know about this. But ran into 4 more bottles that I was just really pleasantly surprised with. One of the stores that I'm doing for my project this year is Maple Party Shop in Columbus, Georgia. Matt and the crew out there are awesome. I had a great time with them. They have a point system, which is awesome, but this wasn't even on the point system. This is a Whiskey Pig 18-year double malt. And I'm sure that, there we go. Try not to open it all the way because the little crystal decanter top likes to fall out and fumble all over the place, and I'm sure you don't want to see that. But they had this at MSRP. This wasn't part of their point program. It was just sitting there. And so when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? Whiskey ain't gonna wait. Let me go ahead and grab this. This will cut into, you know, my March and potentially some of my April budget. But we'll figure that out. Maybe there'll be some good trades coming in March, and there's also the Alabama lottery in March. So was able to pick this up and add it. Like I said, February was a boomer month, so very excited about that. The next bottle is actually something I was able to get through a lottery. This was outside of Atlanta. This was a friend of mine's honey hole. He was like, hey, they're doing this lottery up there. If you want to, go check it out. So I went down a week ahead, and if you purchase certain bottles, you got lottery tickets. And then they also had a walk-up lottery the day of, where you didn't have to purchase anything. You just get in the line, you get a ticket, you see if you go up to the board, see if you want anything. I was actually very fortunate. I had 4 tickets and I was able to, the night before, see the results on what they pulled so far. And I actually had a winner before I went there. So I said, well, I'm gonna go stand in line too and see what else I could potentially get. Didn't get anything else. Ran into some awesome people there. Very bitter. It was a bitter cold day, but had a great time with it. But my lottery win was a Michter's 10-year rye. So, like I said, this has been outstanding month. This was something I had no idea that I'd have an opportunity for. They had one Michter's 10-year rye. I just happened to have the lucky winning ticket. So sometimes it's just about luck. It worked out very well for me on that, but we've got a gentleman in the area that he's a big rye fan. I'm a rye fan, and I told him, look, one of us is going to open this bottle first, and we're going to get a sample to the other. That way, if he wants to keep it closed or hold on to it, you know, he could do that, or I could do that. So we'll see which one of us caves first and provides the other with the sample. But I'll do something on that when that occurs. All right, these last 2 bottles, definitely part of my collector's mentality. I would say that these are the ones that really kind of put me over the edge into my March/April budgets. So I'll have to decrease my March and April budgets because I saw these whiskey ain't gonna wait. Might as well take the opportunity. In Hinesville, Thomas H. Handy, same store that I got the single barrel at. They had this available. I hadn't seen this in the wild. It was a good price. So I said, let me go ahead and get this. I'm working on, you know, completing a BTAC lineup. So with this, I was able to add this to a William LaRue Weller that I had already. So now I have 2 of the 5 BTACs. And I said, okay, this is pretty awesome right here. You know, so 40% of that is complete. And I said, very pleased with that. So this all occurred in the same week. We had the lottery. I had Hinesville earlier in the week, the lottery later in the week. And so I was able to get a lot of stuff really, really fast. And then the last bottle came in. And I was not looking for it, not expecting it. But while I was at the lottery, ran into a gentleman there. We started talking. He had a stag available. I said, man, Miss is going to kill me on this. But she's away in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So just because I'm doing stuff here doesn't mean she's got to know about it, right? So I'm sure that I'll be on Bourbon's probation if she ever finds out. But we'll see what happens. But George T. Stagg was able to pick this up, actually have a sample also coming in on this from the gentleman I got this from. He's got an open bottle, and I'm getting a sample from it. And I'm giving that sample away to a friend. He had told me he has never had a BTAC, and I told him I want to get it. He told me, I don't know if I want to have it because I might like it too much and it may get me in trouble, but I still want to give him the opportunity to sample a BTAC. So I'll meet this gentleman later in, actually next week, so it'll be in March, and that'll be part of actually my March allocation because he had a couple other products that I was very interested in. But I'll get the sample to my friend and see what he thinks about that. But very, very heavy month. Extremely heavy month. So don't think that every month is going to be like this. Hell, some people won't even have a year like this. I've had plenty of years where I haven't had this. This was just a very crazy month. Like I said, March and April may be diminished a little bit, so I may have more kills than I actually have bottles. But very pleased with the month. I'll tell you what, I'd like to also show the kills for the month. You know, nothing too extravagant, but we'll see what we got. And I'm back. So these were the bottle kills for the month of February. I'd like to say that I drank all of these, but fortunately I do not have a liver designed by D. Martin. So I did share a lot of these, put these into an infinity bottle project and some on another project I'm working towards. But kills for the month, Buffalo Trace. They were a good bottle. Appreciate your contributions to the team. Daily Drinker, Elijah Craig. Something that I really enjoy. I think is a very reasonable price. Sazerac Rye, aka Baby Saz. went into infinity projects. Plus I've been working on this for a few months and went down the road. Eagle Rare, just finished this up in a video yesterday. Also part of an infinity project and something that I pour and share with a lot of people when they come over, and share to when I send off to my brother-in-law and my son-in-law. One of my favorites so far this year, this is the Chattanooga whiskey. The barrel strength or cask strength on this, 111 proof. This thing right here, to me, it was just a caramel bomb. I mean, great flavor on this. I was able to share this with 4 or 5 other people. Also part of my infinity project, so very happy with that. Elijah Craig, barrel proof A123. This just came out. I was able to get 2 bottles. One of it, we almost polished it off completely at a Super Bowl party. I made some great old fashions with this. Put some in an infinity project and had a couple of nice sips on this on the weekend. Really enjoyed the Elijah Craig. As some may know, I'm a big Elijah Craig fan. So if anyone Elijah Craig just wants to send me anything, I'll be glad. If anyone has any extra bottles they just don't like and they need a good home, I'll take them here. Me and Elijah Craig get along swimmingly. Last bottle is not a bourbon, but it is a Scotch whiskey. This is something I've had for a few years and really love the Peat Monster. Oh, wait. There's a couple drops left. We can't code this one yet. Man, this one right here, I guess we can call time on it now. Peat Monster, you were a good friend for a bunch of years, but it's February 26th, time of consumption on this TOC. We're right at 9:55 a.m. Great bottle though. Those that may venture outside of their bourbons or whiskeys, I like a good Scotch from now and again, and this Peat Monster was just outstanding. It's like you're drinking a campfire. Some people don't like peat. I like heavy peat, but these were the kills for the month. Like I said, I wish I could have said I drank every one of these to the last drop, but no, I shared a lot of these. I hope you all have an amazing day. I hope this showed you kind of what I was able to find in my area in February and some of the things that I was able to share with my friends. If you find this interesting, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. Y'all have an amazing day.